We've got some news. So first up, Niantic has announced that they will soon be discontinuing their support for 32-bit Android devices, and this is to streamline our development process and focus resources on supporting newer operating systems and technologies. So if you happen to be rocking a 32-bit device and are still playing Pokemon Go, whether that device be a Samsung Galaxy S4 or an S5, or really any Android device that most likely released before 2015, just note that you'll no longer be able to access your Pokemon Go account on those devices once this update rolls out. Partially goes without saying, but it is worth noting that those who are running Android on 64-bit devices, or if you're an iOS user, ultimately this update does not affect you. So while those who are playing Pokemon Go on older versions of iOS are still able to access their account as long as they're playing on a version of iOS that's higher than iOS 9, that does not necessarily mean that they are not facing their own set of problems. So within the past 48 hours, a lot of players have been raising concerns that they have been getting banned from playing Pokemon Go for a period of 7 days and have received a first strike on their accounts for policy violations, when in reality there is no evidence that they actually were cheating in any way and were not using any form of third-party software in order to cheat in any way, shape, or form. Ultimately, Niantic is currently looking into this problem and is working on addressing it and finding a solution for it as soon as possible. If you are someone who has been affected by this, of course, we'll definitely try and keep up to date on this as much as we can, either through a future video and or through our social media pages. I highly recommend that you follow Niantic support on Twitter, which we'll definitely have linked in the description down below, so that you can keep up to date on everything that's happening with this issue as soon as possible. So one final bit of bad news that affects both Android and iOS players. There's recently been a serious exploit that has been discovered in Go Battle League. While Niantic is working to address this, Go Battle League in general will currently be suspended until further notice. As of right now, we don't really know too much about the exploit itself and how it works. The most notable name that has been utilizing this particular exploit was the player by the name of Jesus G1310. Essentially, this player has been able to fire off multiple charge moves in what can only be described as very impossible scenarios. One particular example of this is that they're able to fire off a third Rock Slide charge attack with Melmetal only after 3 Thunder Shocks. And another more specific example is given by a Twitter user by the name of Toshi9227, who in his video showed that Jesus was using a Leafeon with Razor Leaf as his fast move and Leaf Blade as his charge move. While normally it will take around 18 Razor Leafs in order to be able to fire off 2 Leaf Blade attacks, this user was still able to fire off said 2 Leaf Blade charge attacks while only using 12 Razor Leafs. Given any other scenario, it will be virtually impossible to obtain the necessary amount of energy to fire off 2 of those charge attacks with that little amount of fast attacks used. Ultimately, as of right now, once again, while the exploit is being addressed, Go Battle League is currently suspended until further notice. We'll of course update you as to when Go Battle League starts up again, either in a future video and or on our social media pages, which of course will be linked in the description down below. And if you're interested, we're also going to leave Niantic's exact response to the current exploit, as well as what's going on with Go Battle League, also in the description down below. So moving on a little bit from some of the bad news to some kind of sort of good news. So Niantic is still currently testing out their new POKECOIN update over in Australia, but they have noted that they are listening to some of the feedback they're receiving and have made a couple of changes to that update. So ultimately, the major changes that they will be implementing to the update, the kind of sort of junk part is that they're reverting their maximum POKECOIN amount that you can earn per day back from 55 down to 50 once again. The biggest plus that they've mentioned is that POKECOINs earned from defending gyms will remain 6 per hour instead of the measly 2 per per hour. The third one that they mentioned is that the maximum number of POKECOINs earned from defending a gym per day will be reduced from 50 to 30. However, it is worth noting that the number of POKECOINs earned per day from completing the featured activities will be increased from 5 to a whopping 20 POKECOINs. I think this is a major step up from the previous version of the POKECOIN update. I am a little bit bummed that the max amount of coins you can earn from gyms has been cut so much, but I do appreciate that you are able to get a lot more coins out of the featured activities, so I guess that kind of sort of balances out in my mind. I'm still very much on the fence about including Win a Raid as one of the possible featured activities that you have to complete in order to get the 20 POKECOINs. Maybe in the long run it should be perfectly fine, but I guess in the short run, or at least at the initial, I probably won't include it initially, just because we are still currently in a pandemic, so a lot of people are heavily reliant on remote raids in order to complete any form of raid. I guess the idea of having to purchase a remote raid with 100 POKECOINs in order to earn 20 POKECOINs seems relatively counterproductive. I do also think that the idea that you have to complete all the tasks in order to get all 20 POKECOINs as kind of like an all or nothing system, I feel like there's a little bit too much of an extra challenge for that. I would still very much appreciate it if it was each individual task were to provide you some POKECOINs in order to get the sum total of 20 POKECOINs, but that's just something I wouldn't mind seeing personally. So finally, Niantic has announced more details for the Solstice theme and the bug out event that we mentioned in the previous news video. So starting off with the information that we gained from the Solstice event, once again, the event will be taking place from Friday, June 19th at 8 a.m. to Wednesday, June 24th at 10 p.m. in your local time. During this time, Pokemon associated with the Sun and Moon, including Clefairy, Sunkern, and more, will be appearing more frequently in the wild, hatching from 5-kilometer eggs, appearing after completing event exclusive field research tasks, and appearing in raids. It is also worth noting that if you're lucky, you'll now be able to encounter a shiny Clefairy out in the wild. This is worth noting that originally you're only able to get a shiny Clefairy by evolving it from a shiny Cleffa, but now you'll be able to skip the whole process and just get yourself a shiny Clefairy out in the wild. Other things worth noting about the event, Lunatone and Solrock will both be appearing in 3-star raids and hatching from 5-kilometer eggs regardless of your location. While their appearance in raids and in 5k eggs are not region based, their appearance in the wild are region based depending on the particular set of days throughout this event. So starting off on Friday, June 19th at 8 a.m. to Saturday, June 20th at 11:59 p.m. in your local time, Lunatone will be appearing more frequently out in the Eastern Hemisphere, and Solrock will be appearing more frequently in the Western Hemisphere from Sunday, June 21st at 12 a.m. to Monday, June 22nd at 11:59 p.m. Lunatone and Solrock will be appearing more frequently in the wild everywhere. And finally, from Tuesday, June 23rd at 12 a.m. to Wednesday, June 24th at 10 p.m. in your local time, Lunatone will be appearing more frequently out in the Western Hemisphere, and Solrock will be appearing in the Eastern Hemisphere. On that note, once the event is over, Lunatone will be remaining in the Western Hemisphere and Solrock will be remaining in the Eastern Hemisphere until further notice. And it is worth noting that throughout the event, there will be a bonus of 2x catch Stardust, so definitely capitalize on that sweet dust. So as for the new information in regards to the bug out event, as mentioned previously, this will be occurring from Friday, June 26th at 8 a.m. to Wednesday, July 1st at 10 p.m. in your local time. During this time, bug-type Pokemon, including Scyther, Venipede, and Dwebble, will be appearing more frequently out in the wild, hatching from 5k eggs and appearing in event-exclusive field research tasks, and appearing in raids. And if you're lucky, you'll now be able to encounter a shiny Dwebble. Along with that, more bug-type Pokemon will be attracted to incense. Certain bug-type Pokemon will be appearing more often than others depending on the day you use your incense. So much like Solrock and Lunatone's presence in certain regions is dependent on day, it appears that the Pokemon attracted to incense more often will also be dependent on day. Starting off on Friday, June 26th at 8 a.m. to Saturday, June 27th at 11:59 p.m. in your local time, Nincada will be attracted more often to incense. Pretty cool. Very rare to see Nincada pop up. Nincada seems to be a very event exclusive Pokemon, so it's kind of sort of same pop up again. So from Sunday, June 28th at 12 a.m. to Monday, June 29th at 11:59 p.m. in your local time, wormpole will be attracted more often to incense. And it's worth noting, you can still catch yourself a purple wormpole, so be on the lookout for that. And finally, from Tuesday, June 30th at 12 a.m. to Wednesday, July 1st at 10 p.m. in your local time, Scyther will be attracted more often to incense. Shiny Scyther is also available, so be on the lookout for sunburned Scyther. And one final thing to note about the event itself is that it'll feature some bonus 2x catch XP. So if you're still working on getting yourself up to level 40, it's definitely a good time to invest in that. So one final thing to note in more relation to the bug out event is that there will be a raid day on Sunday, June 28th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. in your local time, in which 3-star raids that feature Pinsir will be occurring more frequently. It is also worth noting that there will also be a 1 POKECOIN bundle that features 3 remote raid passes that are available during this time. So if you've recently run out of remote raid passes and need to stock up, this is definitely an excellent opportunity to do so. So that's all of the news I have for today. Once again, I hope you're all staying safe and staying healthy during this time. And with all that said, I will see you guys in the next video.